What's up, everyone? It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Really long, in fact, maybe 2 years. In the meantime, I've moved countries, changed jobs, had a whole lot of different professional developments, personal developments. But I just felt inspired to say something, and I don't really know who looks at my channel, if anyone at all, or what my channel is really about. Maybe it's just about having honest conversations about things. So, and just kind of authentically sharing my view on life to spark something in yourself that maybe helps you on your own journey and gives you an opportunity to say something back. Feel free to engage me and ask questions or comment or let's have a discussion, as long as it's meaningful and comes from a place of um, um, sincere investigation. That's what I would call it. So what I wanted to talk about is how do we know things, and I don't want to get purely philosophical. I would like to talk about this from a very practical and from a point of view of my own insights. Um, I've always struggled with this idea of, like, how do I know what to do, what's right, what's real, what's true? And the mind comes up with all sorts of theories and thoughts and philosophies, and sometimes those things turn out to happen or to occur or feel true, or and sometimes they don't. Why is that? And also, is theory or theoretical thought even a place where we can try and find the truth from? Is a philosophical thought or a conceptual notion in itself valid, because within it might be contained and is likely to contain a series of assumptions. The very nature of theoretical thought is that it's based on things you think to believe, and anything you think to believe, can it actually be true, or is it all made up, or can we do we have to only experience things to know? A lot of the times in society, we are told that experience is the pillar of knowing, and therefore it's rewarded and valued. But a lot of things, sometimes even really simple things, you don't have to experience to know them. But at the same time, you have the contradictory notion that of, hey, you don't knock it till you've tried it. You don't. How do you know you've not tried it? That's also kind of like a valid response and argument towards the effect of your true understanding of that thing. How all encompassing is it, and how packed with nuance is it really? Yours might be a judgment that is not complete. So, what do we do? How do you know? Do you have to experience everything? Can you just know some things without experiencing them? Is it safe to assume? Is it always unsafe to assume? Does an assumption always make an ass out of you and me? How can we know things? And the thing is that there are limits to any approach. And what I mean is, if you experience something, you do something and then there is a positive outcome, or you do something and there's a negative outcome. In either one of those scenarios, you may afterwards try and conclude, oh, because I did that thing, I had that outcome. And then every time I do that thing, it will have that outcome. So therefore, doing X causes Y. Is that true? Is it that sometimes you do that thing and it doesn't have the same outcome? And then sometimes you can look at a problem, for example, or an outcome that you may desire, and think about the different approaches and think about the different outcome that might happen. But you don't know every factor. You don't know everything that's going to happen, and you don't know all of the different circumstances that it might contribute towards how things resolve. So both of them have limits. So how do you know something? Is it through theory? Is it through philosophy? Is it through analysis? Is it through logic? Is it through intuition? Is it through experience? Is it through repetition? Each one of those has limitations. Sometimes they have a certain outcome, and sometimes they have another outcome. They're not replicable, and sometimes they are. Those things aren't actually causations of each other. They are related, maybe. Like, oh, I bought an ice cream in the morning, and also by night I've had a great day. Did I have a great day because I bought the ice cream in the morning, or were there other things? Are those two things? Has the ice cream caused a great day, or is it just related to me having a great day? It's a very simple example, but the point is that your mind can jump. Anyone's mind, the mind can leap to make those kind of conclusions, to form connections. You'd be only human to try and figure these things out, but sometimes those links aren't concrete and conclusive. So if these things are in fact changing, and they are relative, and there are different levels of consistency, they are at relative levels of relativity. It's just a fancy way of saying that they change, and they change at different instances, and at different paces, and at different ways. But ultimately they are not super reliable. So can you bank on them as something or do you have to know every possible scenario, possible outcome, every possibility to actually say, oh, I know that thing? Does that give you confidence? Or maybe you're not even worried about that because you're the type of person who can know that there's change and react to change as you go along. So you can live in the unknown. Nonetheless, at some point, you will feel like while you are comfortable not knowing some things, you would like to feel some sense of assurance at some point in your life of the things that you do know. Because that will help you feel like you know something about life. That will also help you give you direction, and help to sometimes, in some cases, give you a better understanding of yourself and other people, and how to speak to other people, inform them, guide them, relate to them, how to interact with the world from a place of what you do know, being honest about it. And I think what I would suggest is that there's actually something else that tells us whether we know or not know something. There is something in us that corroborates whether our feelings, inklings, thoughts, assumptions, strategies, ideas, and even experiences and facts are in fact true or not. We have every human being has, every living being has something that pulses and speaks even non-verbally to them. Could even just be a sense that lets you know, oh, you know what, that is true or that's not true. Sometimes you can be listening to someone, you just know that doesn't sound right, or that's not adding up, and you don't know exactly why, or it's like it all seems to add up, but just doesn't feel like that's true. Or you might be thinking something, going down a path in your mind, and then all of a sudden snap out of it and go, wait a minute, I've just made that all up. That's not really true. Something deeper in you, deeper, if you might know, I don't know if it's deeper, but something, yeah, something knows. And it's this third thing, if you want to call it that, or this power that actually tells you whether things are true or not. So what's the value of that? Is Well, I would say there's value in knowing that, hey, those other things that are constantly shifting and changing, they're really hard to know. Can't really know, can't reliably say you know them in the can't reliably say you know them in a very true way, though you can work with them as functional concepts, as operate, um and that also, there's value in knowing, hey, there's this other thing though that does kind of tell me sometimes whether something is really true for me or not, or true overall or not. How can I, knowing that, you might ask yourself, how can I get more acquainted with that thing so that I am more uh, uh, living in the truth and able to speak to the truth and have the confidence in myself to know and act in truth, and then that could help you in your life, maybe, maybe, probably, maybe. So yeah, that's it. These are I just wanted to share this, and no idea if anyone's gonna listen to my video or my thoughts, but if anyone does, you find this insightful, or want to engage in a discussion about it or whatever, just we can do. But yeah, this is just to kind of share. This is something that I feel like, for me, it has helped immensely to uncover that that both theory and experience as ways of knowing have limits, but they can both be employed. But ultimately, there is something else that validates those things to make them really feel true for us, and for us to be able to utilize them also in our daily lives, to empower us and help us function with a surety and confidence. and a sense of being true to authenticity and being true to yourself, so that you're not like doubting yourself. Is that really what I want to do? Is that a question you have, out there, someone else? Then that will help with that. Or is that really true? Or is this right for me? How do I really feel about this? What do I really think about this? And how do I really see reality? What is my reality? And how can I help also make it make sense for myself and other people? All of that stuff. If you have those questions, I think it might help to try and get these foundational things, together, and understand the planes of relative, what's more relative, more changing, more changeful, less changeful, and the least changeful, and how do those things how line up for me, and all of that stuff. Which if anyone's interested in talking about all that stuff, I would be thrilled to. Cheers.